Hey guys, welcome to This Is Life. My name is Akat Nani and I am hosting this show, but I'll be having conversation with my very good friends. I'd like to introduce Ric Hassani. Wana.
Hi.
Precious.
Hi.
And then Wofai Fada.
Hi.
Good to have you guys on the show.
Pleasure.
Good to see you.
Thank you. I'm so excited for you guys to be here because, to be honest, I'm a fan of every single one of you. I've been a fan of your music for a very long time. I'm amazing. Your voice is just heavenly.
Thank you.
And you create content that just makes everybody here fall
Maybe
apart.
before we leave, someone should sing, right?
Oh yes, they will be
Okay.
singing. And then Wana, the gift of life.
Oh,
Heaven's voice and rhythm.
Chai.
Wow.
So, I'm going to be throwing out this quote by Bob Marley. He says, "One good thing about music, when it hits you, you feel no pain."
Uncle Bob was a deep guy, though.
He was.
You know.
Deep guy, you know. I mean, more than just a normal guy. He's a legend. There was something special about him, you know.
Yeah.
There are a lot of artists. It's one thing to have a voice and know how to sing. It's one thing to just be an exceptional human being. That's who he was. He wasn't just a singer.
Yeah.
Yeah, there are people like that, you know.
But I beg to differ with what he said. Because music has made me feel pain.
Of course.
Because I remember when I was in first year university, when I heard "Let Me Cater to You, Baby, this is your boo," I was like, I don't have baby.
So you didn't feel like there was nobody to cater to you?
Oh, first of all, I had asked somebody out and she said no.
Oof.
So the pain of that song, I felt that pain. So please, Bob Marley, I love you. But music can, you know, make you feel pain.
Yeah, I think music or any work of art is supposed to make you feel something. I think that's the job, is to make you feel something. Sometimes maybe make you forget in the moment. That's you know, in terms of like music that is, or work that like with the work you do with comedy, the moments we are watching Wofai and we're just like laughing your eyeballs out and you forget everything in the world, you know. But you listen to somebody else's music and you are feeling things, you're remembering things. So I think that the job of like art in itself is supposed to connect and make you feel something. For me, that's what I consider to be good art.
Also, I think that it depends on the music itself. So for me, I know that there are some songs that my father would love to sing. He was not a fantastic singer anyways, but there are some songs that he really liked, Flying Without Wings. So I've had to condition myself to not cry when I sing that song, because all I feel, I mean, it used to be pain. Because he would literally wake us up with that song. So every time I open my mouth to say, "Everybody's look," there's just one person I'm thinking about, and then it comes. And so it used to come with so much hurt, but I mean, over time I just outgrew it. But I totally understand, and it's so ironic that something that gives us so much joy can also remind us of the pain that we've been through. So I think music is just beautiful in itself, and it's very spiritual. I'm not just saying spiritual because a lot of people use that word, but when you sing and you know that you are singing, you will definitely feel it. It might be pain, it might be anger, it might be happiness, it might be joy, it might just a lot of things, and it might be all of this in that particular song. So you can be happy with a song and you're still sad with a song.
And you gotta feel your feelings.
Yeah.
What's wrong with feeling your feelings, please?
Yeah.
And let the feelings come to the top.
The irony of it is that you know that this thing is making you feel sad. Why do you keep listening to it? like when I'm heartbroken, there's a particular song I listen to and it makes me cry. So why do I keep playing
You
it?
won't cry.
I think maybe it's assisting you reach where you need to reach. You know, sometimes there's a deep cry waiting to come out. It's just waiting, and then finally this thing is just like the dam just burst open.
It helps
it's
you
like
open
okay,
up.
yeah. And you needed that cry.
A famous actor was dying, and on his deathbed, someone looked at him and said, "Oh my God, I'm so sure this is hard for you." And he said, "Dying is easy. Comedy is hard."
Wow.
What do you have to say about that, Wofai? How hard is comedy?
Wow.
A lot of comedians are actually depressed because nobody knows when you're sad or when you're happy.
And people always expect you to
Yes.
be happy and make them laugh.
I walk into some places before and someone is like, make me laugh. And I'm like, you are mad. You are mad. Like, I'm a tool of laughter. And then I'm like, I was too mean. Because I'm a human being at the end of the day. People expect so much from you. You're in a room and people are just looking at you like, this one no go crack joke today. And you're probably depressed. And sometimes you tell someone, I don't feel good today, a whole comedian like you. So you don't even know how to express how you feel. You just bottle up the emotions and then you get home and you're just so sad. So I can relate with that person. Let him just die in peace.
Do you ever get those things where even when you are sad and you tell someone, they actually don't know how to deal with it?
It's true.
They generally don't. Because you are the one that is used to making them laugh. So they're like, I don't understand. What do you want me to say to you?
If you're sad, what do you want me to say?
Can't I be sad?
It's a burden, actually.
We all have that part about, like everybody here, you, Wana, Ric, Precious, Wofai, you've gotten to stages in your careers where the weight of expectation can be very, very heavy. And for you, Ric, so my question to you is, what has the weight of expectation felt like for you? I mean, are there certain do's and don'ts? Maybe the way you live life? How has it affected the way you live your life? Maybe the way you take pictures, or you can't act a certain way, or maybe you can't even go to the mall anymore.
Oh, wow. I think for a lot of like entry-level artists, and I mean like upcoming artists that are trying to find their space in the industry, I feel like it's actually okay to let the expectations affect you. You're supposed to let it affect you now. Now they come find Blue, Abi. So you go come, see as everything they go, come see how you go contribute your own. But it gets to a level where that now becomes like you are not free. As you go grow past that level you now have to find yourself, trust yourself, and now do anything you like.
Yes.
You understand? But when you first come, you go first, okay, make I know do like, make I, so I go see as everything they go. It also comes with just being respectful for the industry. Because go just enter, begin to do anyhow. But when you now enter, it gets to a level where you have to now find yourself, trust yourself, and then just autopilot, just do as you like.
So right now, freedom.
Oh, I'm on autopilot now.
I'm doing as you like.
No, but the thing we say, you really have to find yourself first and be grounded.
Yeah.
Because that way, anything you do will never be outside yourself. Because you know yourself already. So now I know the thing quitting that they do again. I already know who I am. So everything that I'm doing is off those core values of who I am. But you have to know those core values first.
You have to know who you are.
If not,
what you're doing.
You misfire a lot.
So there's a place where perception has to meet like real life personality. And when I was getting ready the guests for each episode, I had a conversation with one. I was like, if there's anybody that can get away with wearing bathroom slippers on any episode, it's Wana. And because I said if I
Why
do
did
it,
you say that?
Oh no, because if I do it, people are going to be like, so he bad rich.
Food no day else.
This one when you marry, you can't go on. Don't worry. Do you understand? I can't get away with it. But for you, I don't know what it is that you've done with your work, your craft. And to be honest, like poetry, I've never been a fan of poetry or word of mouth. What do they call it?
Spoken word.
Spoken word.
Don't worry, I get that all the time. A lot of people are not
spoken word.
Always say they're not.
Actually say word of mouth.
I say word of mouth, so it's spoken word.
Spoken word.
Wow.
Yes, spoken word.
Poetry,
Yes.
spoken word, whatever.
But I've never. Because when I was in school, someone would just come, I live in Bagada. I want to live with your lover. And I want to go to Savannah. I'm just like, what's that?
Yeah.
But what you came with and exposed us to and gifted us and shared with us, you, Titi, the work you do just hits the soul. You have been able to get into a place where, from the beginning, you poured your whole self. You were bare. So how was that for you? And why did you do that?
So I always say this thing that there is something my mother used to say, to me since, and she always said this when we were growing up, which was that she said you cannot shame the shameless. And so when I was growing up, we've always had this experience of transparency. You know, I've always had this experience where I'm not hiding from anything.
Yeah.
You know, and I always say my mother gave me that permission. And I think that's always translated into my own everyday living. I live a very real life in a very real world. So I don't know how to be anything other than myself in the way that I am, you know. And so I think bringing it also back to this conversation around perception, reality, I only know how to just be me. You know, sometimes you do, like every human being, don't get it twisted. We all get scared that, will people like me? With no likability is a thing. You're like, oh, will people like me? Or will people not like me? Or this or that. But I think on average, I only know how to just be myself and live the life that I know how to live.
Yeah.
She's very lucky. Like listening to you, you're very, very lucky. Like I want you to realize.
No, I know. I'm very aware, but I'm very lucky.
Because me, like my whole life, I've had to live under perception. Let me explain my upbringing now. So I was born in a university campus. At the time, my father was the vice chancellor of the university. My mother was a lecturer. My eldest sister was an assistant lecturer in the university. So everybody knew who the family was, you know, and had this expectation. So my whole life, like imagine being born into that kind of environment. That kind of environment is already it's one kind of toxic.
You are the owner of pressure.
You know? Yes. So I had to act a certain way. Like so, it exhausted me. And imagine living like that throughout your childhood days to your teenage years, and then going to university. And then I went to Covenant University, so there's already expectation in the school because it's a Christian school, so you have to behave it. So my whole life I've just been under expectation. So I've recently broken out of that, but it took me a very long time. See, I'm 32 years old. I just broke out into myself last year. You can imagine.
So you're still lucky. You would have been at 40.
I would have been 40.
Ours was born out of actually a very bad circumstance. So I grew up, you know, just typical Naija. Every life was good. Daddy, mommy, everybody, everything was wonderful, like a wonderful family. When I hit 10, or before I hit 10, my parents started, you know, fighting, and it was a very violent relationship. But it was also that we lived on an estate. So things in our house became very public. So everybody in our estate knew what was happening in our house. That's the other, they're always beating the woman there. Do you understand? So everybody knew our problems. So I still remember, you know, walking, you know, like walking in our estates, and somebody saying, how are you? How is your mommy? This. I want to say, how are you? How is your mommy? How are you guys? It's always a look. Because we also moved from like having like 3-4 cars to entering and not having money to enter a bus. So it was like every kind of shame that you are from this house, that this big woman, kind of shame, we knew it.
So do you think with your upbringing, your life, how it's like the events of your life set you up into doing what you're doing now? Because I feel like maybe music became your outlet for releasing that frustration.
100%.
And then you just said, I'm going to be an artist.
100%.
And then you know, spoken word, word of mouth. This is Life Podcast is sponsored by Enterprise Life Nigeria. And you can follow them on social media at Enterprise Life Nigeria.
Is here with Enterprise Life Assurance. Our decades of experience in the West African markets will help you achieve your dreams with peace of mind. Visit www.myenterprisegroup.io/NG or call 0700 Enterprise to know more. Enterprise Life, your advantage.
My poetry poetry came from like the sort of depression of my childhood. Wow. That's where I didn't even know I was writing poems at the time. I was just scribbling down things to get out my frustration on paper. So it was my friend, my best friend, I was about 16, my best friend saw something I had written and she was like, man, Wans, this is very poetical. I was like, You know, I was actually trying to hide the things I was feeling in the writing, so it felt like coded. I was like doing coded writing. So that if they see my journal, nobody will know what I'm talking about. Yeah. That's how it started. Yeah. And so the moment my best friend said that to me, then it opened my mind and my ideas to the idea of poetry, and I started to kind of study poetry consciously. And so that's how it started. So for a very long time, a lot of my poems were really about chronicling my experiences and my feelings as a person.
I'm sure you guys can relate to what they're saying, but I want to talk to you, Precious, about this. Like, how did life set you up for doing what you're doing now?
So for me, as a child, I never really liked singing. Yeah, so yeah. When I was I never really. In fact, I hated it. So when I was graduating from primary school, they made everyone who was graduating sing, which I thought was not necessary. So they said, everybody must sing. And then I ran away from rehearsal once, twice, and then they called my dad to tell him that I never show up before. And until my dad brought me to rehearsal that day, and so I tried, I sang it. When I sang, everyone clapped. I'm like, okay.
You liked the feeling.
I mean, so if I continue doing this, you guys will keep clapping for me. And so, I just thought that, so that's when I developed
love for it.
Yeah, so, and then I still kept it until when I was leaving secondary school. I just said, okay, let me just even, yes, I think I made some money. So, yes, in secondary school. I think I made like 500,000 from me. I'm like, if I make this type of money from this thing that I don't even give time to. If I put in so much time. And then and also because my dad would always make us sing to him. So, yes.
Your father was a music head.
Yes.
Really loved music.
But he couldn't really sing.
He's like, but he couldn't sing.
So, and then I just started, let me try this, something. And then I just started, I had to learn the whole of that Westlife album just for him, just to make him happy. Because he would always like for me to, whenever he comes out from work, he would like for us to just sit around and then I'll sing to him and then he tries to sing as well. It used to be so sweet. So and then that's how I just really started loving music, and then I decided to try a few competitions, and it's beautiful because so many things that I cannot say, I try to use music to say it, and it comes out really beautifully. And because, of course, I know that I have a super amazing voice, and I'm also thankful for acceptability. You know that there's too many singers who can really sing, but like you said, likability, acceptability, especially because I'm singing to a Nigerian market. I was singing to a Nigerian market at the time. I used to have this,
there was no tolerance for R&B.
So when I was even growing up, I used to have this, why does it sound like this? It doesn't sound like the regular guy. He doesn't sound like this. And so over time, I had issues with it. It started to affect me mentally until I decided to just build a wall over it. So I was just sitting one day and said, if I sound like this person, if we all sounded alike, it would be a really boring world. And there's no place I will go into now and I will speak and they will not love my voice. So I think that the confidence, also because of my body. So at the time I was also still really big, and then my voice. So it was just too many things. So if they're not talking about my body, they're saying, his voice is too tiny and it doesn't sound like, they were just sounding like a girl. And all of those things. So I even have some depth now. When I was younger, I used to be tiny, and I wish I still had it.
You could sing sopranino.
My God, I was singing and everywhere will be shaking. I still do that now, but I still wish. But I was able to work on my confidence. So when I come now, if you even say Precious is big, I'll even join you and laugh because I might not big. And then I'm a very fine man. So I tell you that when you say you're big, can you also add it? So so many things, but today I'm even thankful that I'm a singer.
Yeah. And Wofai, when did you fall in love with your craft? When did you think or know you were going to do comedy?
When they started calling me a comedian.
When was this?
I was in school, and when they called me comedian that year, it wasn't funny. Because the idea of women being in comedy would be, okay, because she's ugly, that's why she started doing comedy. Oh, wow. So I started researching.
Because those were the women in...
Yeah. So I looked at these women, not like they were ugly, but they were not fine. So I was like, okay, so when you're ugly, they call you a comedian. So whenever they call me comedian, I'm like, stop it. Stop it. But I saw that people were laughing. Whenever I talk, they laugh. So I'm like, let me just turn these jokes into videos instead. So I started shooting videos. And the first question you asked him about expectations. And confidence, I love that topic because people need to get to that point. There's this freedom. He's so sweet. You don't understand. And when I look at him, I know he's there because I follow him. I see the kind of things he posts. I'm like, this guy has crossed a bridge because I've been trapped myself. When I first came to Lagos, I was already popular online. So when I came, people said I was a celebrity. So I lived up to, okay, I'm a celeb. Meanwhile, food. Like, I can't even ask you for the food because you already said I'm a celeb. So
You cannot
I cannot ask you for Gary. Like, I'm trapped. When I go for interviews, I see all these girls with American accents in Lagos. So when they bring the mic, I try to do my own, but it doesn't sound. It didn't sound like what they were saying. It wasn't working for me. So I'm just like, you know what, Wofai, just be yourself. And then when I was myself and I lost a lot of friends because they were like, I'm too ras. This one. If they are going out, I'm like, can I join? They're like, no. Please. They're a comedian now. See, what are you wearing? I felt so bad. I just cut off. I'm like, okay, let me just be in this world. It's safer. So I was on my own. I kept doing what I was doing. I was what they said I was. And then I figured out that at some point, they now came back to me. They now wanted to be around me. They wanted to be me. Because they are trapped and they don't know. Do you understand? So they came back. The first person that told me, you can't come with us, was like, can I be in your skit? I'm like, what? You want to do comedy? You want to be? And we did, and she had fun. And since then, we became so close because now it was as if I'm the one that actually brought her out of herself. So that made me be like, okay, just be yourself. You see that slippers I wear? In short, because of this interview, I wore heels. It's stressful. Do you understand? There's a level of freedom you gain when you're actually yourself. And I'm thankful.
I love what she said. It's something that you said in all of what you said now that I want to expand on. That is very important. You had to go away for a while.
Yes.
You had to set yourself aside for a while. I feel like every, should I say, great person or every standout person, there's a period you have to set yourself.
You have to lose people.
Absolutely. You just have to leave. You just have to. You come back. But you just, for some people it's a month, for people it's a year, for it's 5 years, but you have to have that.
It's time for introspection. It's time for
very
introspection.
grueling.
Yeah.
Very grueling. Because
And
the
it's
truth is,
painful.
it feels like the world moves
Yes.
forward. Because I've been there so many times.
But Aka, do you know something very interesting? Even if, you mentioned that you were like, I've just always lived whatever life I wanted to live. Do you know that till this very day, I still get people who think and have told me that they think I'd be more successful if I did things a certain way. I was always told that. I still get asked why I don't live on the island. I still get asked all these questions. There are so many questions I get asked every day. You don't do this, why don't you do this? I still remember when I was working on radio, there was this period, right, when I used to work on radio, and I had friends who worked in brands, and brands and marketing, and then they were like, that Wana, you don't get, there's some deals you're supposed to get, that the reason you don't get is that you're not really out there, you don't go out enough.
Where are you from?
Akwa Ibom.
Oh, that's my sister right now. She has gained freedom.
They're like, you don't, why, there's some, you're not this enough, you don't do this enough. And I remember that I got to a point, I was like, do I need to play this game that they say I should play because I'm tired? That kind of thing. I'm tired.
But the truth is that, see the truth there.
Yeah.
They might be right.
No,
but the thing they say, it's only what you believe that will work for you.
Of course.
It's not like they are wrong.
Yes.
No, they are right, but I think it also depends on what kind of success are you looking for. It's always my question.
That's what I'm saying. It brings us back to, it's only what you believe that will work for you.
So I remember that time, and then I did this whole thing where I went to buy clothes and shoe and handbag. I was like, okay, let me get ready for this going out lifestyle.
You will fall down.
And so I went out for one particular event, and it was just like everybody there, they just did air kisses and were just standing. Nobody was talking to anybody. And I was just like, what is this? I think after that night, I just went home. I was like, I can't do this.
And when you start talking, they feel you're the last one. Because you're not used to people being quiet.
I was
So when you keep talking, they're like, that's why we
it was
don't
like I was the
we
one
say you
making
stay in the
conversation
house.
with everybody. And I was like, I can't do that. And I think, and it was that moment, it was just that one event. I went home and I said, you know what? I'm going to live my life in the way that I know how. And God, if this is meant to be, it will work.
And it's funny because it's so ironic because art is what everyone uses here for freedom to express themselves, but systems and people make it such a way that it confines us and seeks to constrict us, you know? I mean, like I said again, I've never really been a fan of naked art. Like naked, people that will go online, post nude and say art. I'm just like, if you want to post your
naked photo.
if you want to post your naked photo, post it. Don't come at me with art, God's work. God created it. They didn't say you should go and expose it. However, the first time in my life I saw nude photos and said this is art was yours.
Wow.
What inspired that?
I was actually approached. Lucky Ugbawo, who's an amazing photographer, Lucky approached me and he was like, there's this project he wants to work on. And I know that I respect Lucky because he's an incredible artist himself. And I was like, okay, I can only trust my body to someone who I know that we think on the same wavelength. So, you know, that kind of thing. And then he told me, and so it wasn't even about, it didn't feel like it was about my body. Yeah. My body was just a vehicle for the story that was being told. And I was like, yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, Wofai, who has been your biggest influence?
I don't want to call the person's name because I've grown above her.
Hey, way.
I love it.
I really felt like that needed a round of applause.
That was so beautiful.
Yeah, I used to have a role model, but you understand what I'm saying? Yeah. I've grown above her, so I'm actually looking forward to a new role model, and I haven't found it.
Yours? He said energy.
So here's something I can say to you though.
Okay.
You are your own role model and you're your own blueprint.
Ooh, thank you.
The words of a poet.
Yes.
So for me, I'd like to. There's one man who has really affected my life in so many ways. I think it's Timmy Dakolo because he has been like a father. I think that most of the things, my dad is late, so most of the things that my father would usually do, I just see him do it. I don't even, so certain things I don't even ask for. There's certain things that the father and son sort of relationship. So it has made me not miss my dad so much because there's someone who I can call. Oh, that's why I like to call really elderly people, father, daddy. So it just makes me feel like I still have like a connection to a father and stuff. So I think that's me that stands out for me.
Rick, what has been your worst fan experience?
I thought you were gonna ask who is my role model. I was about to say Will Smith.
I think everybody knows Will Smith. Everybody knows that.
I love Will Smith. I'm telling you, I
you kind of look like him somehow.
I love. Oh.
That guy is content.
I love him. Like
man, you understand? Like
his content.
He's man. I just
Why?
love the guy. He's just such an incredible human being. Like he's just a correct person.
He's very lovable as well.
You understand? He's such a correct person. The way I see Will Smith there, he's like, you know how a Mac laptop now is both stylish and functional. There are very rare things that are both stylish and functional, that are both successful and likable. You know, it's either it's so successful that it's not attainable, it's now fake, or it's so likable that it's not successful enough. But Will Smith is both of them. He's so successful, he's legendary, yet he's likable, I just love the guy. Oh yeah, next question.
Precious. What has been your worst fan experience?
Fun experience. Not experience now. Fan from fans.
Yes.
Okay, it was one time. I think it was when I left The Voice, and I started saying on social media at the point that Precious is too proud. We stopped to take photos, and this, and there's only so much I can do. I have issues with my eyes, so when I have too much flash photography, I get overwhelmed, and headaches and everything. So I think that what happened at the mall was, I don't need to have an excuse for saying I'm tired. I don't need to apologize for that. But then I see them saying, oh, it's too proud. I say it's true. because I will keep snapping, and if I fall down and die now, they say that maybe he was sick before. So I think that people should also understand. And before growing up, I used to say, oh, celebrities, this. I'm not. At the time when I even left the voice, I was not like a celebrity, but it was even overwhelming for me because of the DMs and everything. And then it looks like he doesn't reply, he doesn't follow, he doesn't do this. Sometimes I don't even know what they're talking about. But and then you go online and you see terrible things that I used to be a fan, but now I'm not just saying, it's good, my dear. But I think that people should also try to be understanding. Because if you even see you know that I'm tired. Because you know when someone is worn out. Yeah. But I still smile, but you're still angry because I did not stand to take, this one is not fine, let's do another one. This one is not. I don't know, that's not why I came out.
But do you know something that I was watching an interview and Ed Sheeran was saying that no matter how tired he is, he always tries to, if somebody comes to take a picture, he always tries, because it's like, that might be the only time that person will see you forever in their whole life. And that's the only memory that they will have of you. That's the only memory. That's another angle. If you're angry that day, if you're taking 10 pictures and 1, 2, 3, 4, you're happy, 6, you're angry, 7, 8, 9, you're happy, that 1, 6 that you were angry, that's that only person's memory of you. So you are not angry.
I thought you've gained freedom. Why is he talking like that?
No, I'm not saying. I know a phrase that says, "Doctor, heal thyself." Yes. I can do it for you, but if I feel like it's going to affect my health, if I feel like it's going to affect me mentally, I have to know when to say,
know your limits.
I'm sorry, I cannot do this because of this. It's just like
you can try. But the thing about this, human being. This is the thing about this thing now. We are the ones that are gifted, Abi. We are celebrities, Abi. So we are not normal human beings. So we have to be extra than normal human being. If normal human being is tired to take picture, we can be tired. It's our work. That's right.
What do you have to say about that?
No, wait. It's like. What is the truth? It's what we are. It's like Moses and the Israelites.
Sorry to cut you short. It depends on how that person approaches you. Okay. There are some times I am so tired, even at the restaurant. I sit down there, I'm cooking all this meal. I just came out to take fresh air. I am tired. And then someone comes, you know how it is. I was sitting down one time, a man came. He drew my ear.
Ooh.
I say, if I slap you. Do you understand? Yeah. There are sometimes I'm so tired, but the way I'm such a huge fan, I believe in you, the energy will come. The energy will come, trust me.
Yes, okay,
because we also need some sort of motivation. It's not for you to just come, you hold my head.
It's ridiculous.
You're trying to take, come on, man.
One time, I went to a party, and then some lady saw me, and she was just like, she started hitting me. The way I exploded.
Yes.
Get your hands off me. Don't you dare hit me. Like, everybody was like, but why will you slap him now? I'm telling you, everybody joined mouth for me, that one, because I was just like.
They didn't say you were proud.
They didn't say I was proud.
I can't relate because I'm not you are stars here.
Oh, please.
No, what are you?
I don't have those experiences. Well, I feel like, as a person, you must draw your own boundaries.
Yes.
And it is, if you don't have, you can't give. Like if you don't, as a creative person, you have to be able to replenish. You have to be able to have your own sort of zone and mental time.
Yeah.
I think it's just that sometimes it might just be about finding a way to converse with the person. Maybe like, thank you, bros. Just they go like this.
This is Life Podcast is sponsored by Enterprise Life Nigeria. You can follow them on social media at Enterprise Life Nigeria.